Okay, quick question. Have you ever checked your bank account and thought, wait, I get paid decent money. Where did it all go? Because you're not out here buying yachts, you're not flying first class, you're not doing anything crazy, and yet somehow you're broke, or at least you feel broke. Rent's paid, groceries are covered, but there's nothing left. No breathing room, no momentum, just this low-grade financial stress humming in the background of your life. And here's the uncomfortable part. It's not because you don't make enough money. It's because you're paying way more than you think for everything. My name is Reed, and I spend way too much time thinking about why normal, hardworking people stay broke even when the math says they shouldn't. If you're someone who feels stuck financially, like you're doing everything right but still not getting ahead, hit subscribe and give this video a thumbs up. Because here's the thing. Being broke today usually isn't about one big mistake. It's about dozens of tiny, invisible ones that compound quietly and drain you over time. Now look, most people think being broke means not having money. That's not true. Being broke is when your money leaks faster than you can refill it. And the scary part, most of those leaks don't feel like bad decisions. They feel normal, responsible even. This is where it gets interesting. Let's talk about what you're actually paying for your life. Not the sticker prices, the real prices. Take your car, for example. Let's say your car payment is $420 a month. Sounds manageable. Everyone has a car payment, right? But here's what most people don't realize. That $420 isn't $420. By the time you add insurance, let's be conservative, $150 a month, gas, $180 a month, maintenance, averaged out maybe $75 a month, registration, inspections, random fixes, another $30. Suddenly, that $420 car is costing you about $855 a month. That's over $10,000 a year. And that's for something that sits parked 95% of the time. Now you might be thinking, okay, but I need a car. Sure, but needing something doesn't mean you can ignore its true cost. Because here's the psychological trap. Your brain only registers the payment, not the total drain. Your mind loves monthly numbers because they feel small. Your life feels yearly consequences. Now let's zoom out. The average American household makes around $75,000 a year before taxes. After taxes, that's closer to $58,000. That's about $4,800 a month. Now start subtracting. $1,600 for rent, $855 for the car, $400 for groceries, $250 for utilities, $200 for phone plans, $150 for subscriptions, streaming, apps, random memberships you forgot about, $300 for eating out, and that's being modest. You're already at roughly $3,755. That leaves about $1,000. And from that $1,000, you're supposed to save, invest, handle emergencies, enjoy life, and somehow build wealth. See the problem? You're not bad with money. You're just operating in a system where fixed costs quietly eat everything. And here's what most people don't realize. Once your fixed costs cross a certain threshold, your financial life becomes fragile. One flat tire, one medical bill, one slow month at work, and everything collapses. This is why people feel like they're one emergency away from disaster, because mathematically, they are. Now look, let's talk about debt, because this is where people really underestimate the damage. Credit cards don't feel expensive. You buy something for $200, no big deal. Minimum payment says $35, easy. But here's the thing. At 22% interest, that $200 purchase doesn't cost $200. If you only make minimum payments, it can end up costing you over $350, sometimes more. You didn't buy a $200 item. You bought a $350 item and paid for it slowly so it didn't hurt. That's like ordering food and agreeing to tip the restaurant an extra 75% just because you didn't want to pay all at once. Sounds insane when you say it out loud, right? But this is where psychology kicks in. Your brain heavily discounts future pain. Economists call this hyperbolic discounting. Basically, we overweight immediate pleasure and underweight future consequences. That's why $20 feels fine today, but $1,000 in credit card debt feels mysterious and overwhelming later. Same behavior, different time horizon. Now this is where it gets uncomfortable. Most people who say, "I'm just bad with money," aren't bad with money. They're bad with delayed consequences because nobody taught them to zoom out. Let me give you a simple example. If you spend $6 a day on coffee, that's $42 a week. Sounds harmless, but that's about $2,184 a year. Invested over 30 years at a modest 7% return, that coffee habit is worth roughly $220,000. Now you might be thinking, okay, Reed, I'm not giving up coffee. And good, you shouldn't. The lesson isn't never enjoy anything. The lesson is understanding trade-offs. Because right now, you're making trade-offs blindly, and blind trade-offs are expensive. This is where it gets interesting. Most financial advice focuses on optimization, budgets, percentages, spreadsheets, but the real lever isn't math, it's awareness. Once you see the true cost of things, your behavior changes automatically. For example, when people actually calculate the real hourly cost of their lifestyle, something clicks. Let's say you make $25 an hour after tax. That $60 dinner, that's 2.4 hours of your life. That $1,000 phone upgrade, that's 40 hours. That impulse Amazon order, that's your Tuesday evening. Suddenly, spending feels different. Money isn't numbers anymore. It's time, energy, stress. Here's what most people don't realize. Feeling broke isn't about how much you earn. It's about how much control you have. High fixed costs remove control. Debt removes control. Subscriptions you forgot about remove control. And control is what creates peace. Now let's talk about why people keep doing this even when it hurts. Because the system rewards short-term comfort. Buy now, pay later. Low monthly payments, zero down, affordable upgrades. All of it is designed to bypass your rational brain. Because if you had to pay the full cost up front, most purchases wouldn't happen. So what do? This is the part everyone skips. You don't start by cutting everything. You start by auditing reality. You sit down and calculate your true monthly cost of living, including annual expenses divided by 12, car repairs, holidays, insurance deductibles, random life expenses. Most people are shocked when they do this. Then, and this is critical, you identify the top 3 expenses that are silently choking your cash flow. Not this $5 stuff, the $500 stuff. Housing, transportation, debt. You don't need to be perfect, you just need leverage. Dropping your rent by $300 does more than canceling Netflix ever will. Refinancing or downsizing a car does more than skipping lattes. Paying off one high-interest card does more than any side hustle motivation video. This is math, but it's also psychology. Every dollar you free up reduces stress, which increases clarity, which leads to better decisions. Momentum matters. And here's the final thing I want you to understand. Being broke is not a character flaw. It's a visibility problem. Once you can see where your money is actually going, not where you think it's going, you regain power. You stop feeling behind. You stop feeling ashamed. You stop wondering what's wrong with you. Nothing is wrong with you. You were just paying more than you thought. Start small, start honest, start today. Because the moment you take control of your money, it stops controlling you. That's how people get ahead. And that's how you stop feeling broke. I'll see you in the next one.